Hello everyone, it's Tiffany of Clarity, Confidence, Courage, Women's Empowerment. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in a circumstance where every time you say something to someone else, they say the opposite? It's as if what you're saying isn't true. For example, if you were to say, the sky is blue today, and then they say, well, it's not really blue. It's kind of a turquoise green, but it's definitely not blue. Or if you were to say something like, it feels cold in here. I'm kind of chilly. It feels cold. They'll quickly snap back. It's really not that cold. It's all in your mind. You're just imagining things. It's really not that cold in here. It's like every single time you speak or attempt to say something, they make sure that they snap back and use some tactic to prove you wrong or to show that you're wrong or to disprove what you're saying. It's like they're always doing the most at trying to minimize you and make you look like you don't know what you're talking about. Well, if you've gone through this, then you have experienced something called gaslighting. And today I'm going to talk about what gaslighting is, why people use it, and how you can defend yourself against gaslighters. Now, before we jump to this content, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell to get a reminder about my weekly videos, and share and like this video. Make sure other people know about all this information so they can protect themselves against gaslighters. Gaslighting is one of the many forms of psychological trauma that people use to destroy the confidence and mental strength of their target of anger. Whoever it is that they're trying to really punish. Gaslighting can occur even when physical violence is not present. So even if they're not physically hitting you, they can still be psychologically abusing you. It can also happen in intimate relationships or non-intimate relationships, such as toxic friendships or, those coworkers that always try to figure out ways to get at you. It can also happen with managers. Gaslighting can also occur on a larger scale, such as in cults or countries that are dealing with warfare or genocide, or countries that have an authoritarian government or a dictatorship. Gaslighting in any form is a psychological abuse, and it's a tactic that people use to obtain or maintain control and power. So what does it mean when someone actually gaslights you? When a person gaslights, they use manipulative tactics to make you question your perception of reality. Now, there are a number of gaslighting tactics that perpetrators use, but I'm just going to go through a couple that are. The first tactic is lying. A person who gaslights will overtly tell a lie about a circumstance that you know is true, and they will keep the lie going as much and long as they absolutely can. For example, if you were to ask them, why didn't you pick up our son from school today? They will continue to lie and absolutely refuse to acknowledge the truth. I didn't say that. You're confused. You always make things up. They will try to make you look like the bad guy. And what will happen is that they will eventually get to a point where they start to tell you all the time about things that you aren't quite remembering well or that you're confused. And here's the thing. Under all that gaslighting, after a while, after hearing that you're confused, you're wrong, you're not remembering that over and over and over again, you'll actually start to believe that maybe you are confused. And you'll begin to start second guessing yourself, second guessing your memory, and start questioning whether or not you can trust yourself to make decisions. Again, this is all part of what people do when they are trying to gaslight you. The second tactic, spreading rumors and gossip. A person may spread rumors about you to mutual friends or family members. For example, if you have a toxic friend that is gaslighting you with this method, they may tell your family something about you having an eating disorder. And maybe way back when, maybe you did have an eating disorder. But they'll tell your family that right now you're starting up again. You're falling back into old habits and they should be worried about you. They might need to get you help. You might need an intervention. So of course, this in turn will make your family start to question whether or not you really do have an eating disorder. So the whole idea is that this person is spreading rumors, getting your family or friends or other people that know you to turn against you and to make it look like you're doing something wrong, or you're in a toxic situation, or you aren't quite mentally stable enough to take care of yourself. Again, the point of all this is to use your family or friends as part of the gaslighting tactic, because if an entire group of people all believe the same lie, then they will begin to question your behavior and start to think that what the person is saying, the gaslighter, is actually true. And after a while, you will start to think, well, if my whole family is saying it, if all my friends are saying it, maybe I am slipping back into my old habits. Maybe I do need help. Maybe there is something wrong with me. Again, the gaslighter has successfully made you question your reality so they can easily manipulate and gain control. Minimizing. This is tactic number 3. Minimizing your thoughts, your feelings, or your accomplishments is yet another tactic used by a gaslighter. So for example, if something happens that you really get upset about at work, the gaslighter might say, well, it's not a big deal. Why are you getting so upset? Or why are you being so sensitive? Or why are you always getting so defensive? When the truth is, you're not that upset, or you're not super sensitive, or you're not being defensive. You have actually every right to feel your feelings. But you see, the gaslighter will minimize your feelings. They will tell you that it's not that big of a deal, or you're making too much out of this. They will try to minimize your experience so that you don't believe that your feelings are worthy to be heard and that your feelings are not valuable. And maybe what you feel is not quite what you should be feeling. The point, again, is to minimize the importance of how you feel and of what your intuition is actually telling you. This is another tactic that a gaslighter uses to slowly start to erode your self-esteem and your confidence and your belief and your ability to make smart decisions and your ability to feel your intuition and understand how to follow your intuition. This is yet another way that the gaslighter uses to gain control over you. Tactic number 4, blaming. A person may blame you for something that wasn't even your fault. So for example, let's say your husband or boyfriend got fired from his job, and instead of acknowledging his own behavior as to why he got terminated, he may say that it was your fault. You made him get fired because every single morning you would make breakfast late, and that of course would make him late for work. So you know what? You're the reason that he got fired from his job, and he will throw a tantrum and continue to keep the lie going to make you feel like it was your fault that he got fired. Now, let's just be honest. It's completely illogical to think that a wife making breakfast late every morning is going to get their spouse fired. The spouse can just leave earlier or get breakfast on the way to work. But even though it's illogical and there's no rationale behind this blaming, the gaslighter is using that tactic because they know if they say it over and over again, not only will you start to feel guilty, you'll feel shame, and you will start to perceive what happened to them as your fault. And you will in turn start to apologize. And once they realize they've been able to get under your skin, they're going to continue to use that type of gaslighting tactic to make you still feel guilty and ashamed, and somehow continue to blame you for all the issues in their life. And you, of course, will continue to feel guilty, continue to feel shameful, and continue to apologize. Yet another strategy that the gaslighter uses to control you. The next one I call the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde syndrome, because this is a tactic where the offender seems to have 2 totally different personalities. One personality, they're super nice and they're kind and they're outgoing and they're friendly, especially around other people. That's the Dr. Jekyll personality. However, when you're alone with them, they become verbally abusive, attacking you, demeaning you, extremely critical, and display explosive personalities. Like they'll just start screaming and yelling or throwing objects. That's the Mr. Hyde. Often after the explosive or aggressive behavior, they'll calm down and they'll turn back into Dr. Jekyll. They'll apologize and promise that it'll never happen again. You see, this back and forth behavior will make you feel like you're walking on eggshells around that person. And the truth is, you never really know when or what is going to set them off. So you're constantly wondering what it is you're doing wrong to upset the person. You see, this is yet another tactic that makes the victim believe that they're being overly sensitive, and it's just all in their head. That the gaslighter really isn't that bad. It's just that you have to change your behavior so that they don't get upset and turn into Dr. Hyde. However, this back and forth, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde behavior is going to just get worse. And in extreme cases, it can cause the victim to have PTSD, depression, anxiety, sadness, all things that comes with this gaslighting tactic. So what are some defensive strategies that you can use against gaslighting? Hey guys, just a quick interruption. If you are really enjoying this video, then definitely sign up for my newsletter. I send out a newsletter once a week to tell you more about my content, things that I'm engaged in, resources that I have, and just all things clarity, confidence, courage, women's empowerment. I don't overload you. It's a once a week email. Definitely click the link below to get on my newsletter, sign up, and get your free gift while you're at it. All right, back to the content. First, just let me say it is very difficult to be in a relationship or circumstance with the person that gaslights. Trust me, I know. I've been in romantic relationships as well as really toxic friendships with people that are gaslighters in my past. But there are some strategies that you can use to stay safe and defend yourself. The first strategy is to build self-confidence. And I'm talking about unshakable, unbreakable self-confidence. When it comes to building up your self-confidence, you build up your belief in yourself. You build up your belief in your intuition of who you are and your truth, so that people who try to gaslight and prey on you know that you are not a weak person. You have high self-esteem, and those tactics and tricks that they use on other people, they can't use it on you. However, a big part of this is working on building up your confidence, building up your value, knowing that the things that you are seeing and hearing are true, and it is not false, and it is not something that you're making up. Now, part of building up your confidence is practice. If you really want to build up your confidence, check out my online course, The 5 Keys to Magnetizing Confidence, to help you get started. Building confidence will help you build belief in yourself to really defend yourself against gaslighting. The second thing, set boundaries. It's important to set boundaries by limiting the time you spend around a gaslighter. This may mean saying no to going places with that person, or walking out of the room when they start discussing a topic that's really hot, it's going to get them upset, or just staying away from the gaslighter. You can also stop disclosing personal information to a gaslighter, especially if they're that toxic friend or that toxic coworker. Be willing to listen to what they have to say, but never, ever tell them your personal business. If they ask you questions, just say, "Oh, I'm not sure yet." Be very vague. The whole idea is to not allow a gaslighter to work their way into your life, because they're always trying to figure out how they can maneuver your information so they can use it against you. Another way to defend yourself against gaslighting, build positive social relationships that have nothing to do with the gaslighter, meaning that the gaslighter does not know these people, they don't interact together. You see, the reason for this is that it's important for you to be around people that affirm you, since the gaslighter is usually degrading. Being around other people will help you gain perspective outside of the behavior of the gaslighter. So when you're being gaslighted at home, but then you go out with some positive friends and they think what you're saying is fine, or they think how you behaving is great, or how you dress looks great. They're not saying the same things that the gaslighter would say. So this gives you an idea that maybe the gaslighter is wrong. Maybe everything that they're saying is irrational and illogical. So it's so important to have a social network that makes you feel good and that can really support you if you are dealing with a gaslighter. Therapy. Now, no matter what form of gaslighting you're experiencing, therapy is always helpful. If you're feeling like you're in a situation where you're being gaslighted, psychologically manipulated, or abused, reach out for support. You don't have to do this alone. A lot of times we need the help of a certified therapist to really help us get through it and really help us get perspective on what this person is doing to us. OnlineTherapy.com is an affordable program that offers one-on-one therapy, activity worksheets, journals, yoga, and more. They also have various levels of therapeutic services depending on your needs. And since they're all online, they can connect with you wherever you are in the world at any time. They're an affiliate partner, and I've put their link in the description below. Definitely, if you feel like you are in a circumstance where you are being abused, physically or psychologically, I strongly suggest you reach out to onlinetherapy.com. And lastly, ending the relationship with the person that gaslights may be your best option. It's possible for a person that gaslights to change, but only with long-term intense therapy. You see, many times people that gaslight, they don't think they're doing anything wrong. So the likelihood of them actually admitting that they have a problem and going to therapy is really, really low, like almost 0%. Many times it's best to end the connection with the gaslighter and seek therapy for yourself so that you can heal. Now, I'm not telling you that if you're married that you should quickly get a divorce, but what I'm saying is you may need to reconsider your options when it comes to gaslighting. I also highly recommend you get the book, The 5 Types of People Who Can Ruin Your Life, Identifying and Dealing with Narcissists, Sociopaths, and Other High Conflict Personalities by Bill Eddy. Let me tell you, this book is a game changer. And I think that everybody should read this book so they can understand how to deal with these types of toxic personalities. The link to this book is in my description below. Check it out, because if you're dealing with a gaslighter or people at your job or in your family or your other relationships that may have unusual behavior, read this book to figure out if maybe they have one of these types of personality disorders. The bottom line, gaslighting is a form of abuse and can cause depression, anxiety, and feelings of hopelessness and fear. People that gaslight are master manipulators and can make you think you are wrong, confused, unworthy, or that you have some type of mental health problem. They're always going to put you in a circumstance where you're wrong, or you're the villain, or you're the one with the problem. So if you're in a circumstance with a person that makes you feel uneasy, but you can't quite explain their behavior, it's possible you're being gaslighted. Be willing to trust your emotions and your instinct and start taking the necessary steps to protect yourself, stay safe, and get the support you need. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you want coaching around how you can recreate your life, get away from toxic behaviors and toxic relationships, then definitely click my link in the description below, jump on my calendar for a free call, and let's talk and see if working together might be the next step. Remember to hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment. Until the next time, bye.